Hi friends, welcome to Srisai IT Hub. In this video of Core Java Programming, we are going to discuss the following topic: upcasting in inheritance of Java program. Right. So let us understand what is this upcasting. Okay. Right. So this concept is related to typecasting. Okay. Right. So this concept is related to typecasting. So typecasting means we will remember type conversion. So type conversion is done with primitive data types. So primitive data types means integer, float, char, etc. Okay. So type conversion is done with primitive data types, and then coming to typecasting is done with classes in inheritance. Classes which are done in inheritance. Okay. Example: base class, okay, and subclass. Right. So now let us try to understand what is this upcasting step by step. So now some important points related to upcasting, and then we'll see the definition of upcasting. So this concept is related to inheritance, okay, right? And here we work with object reference variables. Okay, so here we work with the concept of object reference variables, and these object reference variables will be having object reference codes or hash codes. Okay, right. So these are the two things which are involved in upcasting. Right. So let us try to understand. Okay, what is upcasting? Okay, right. So coming to the definition of upcasting, it goes like this. So storing subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable is known as upcasting. Okay, so storing subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable is known as upcasting. Okay, right. So after upcasting, what is the use of object reference variable of base class? Okay, so first we'll take an example. So let us say that we have class A. Okay, so let us say in class A we have x, y, m1 method, and for this we have a subclass class B extends A, and here we have something like p, q, m2. Okay, right. So let us create an object of, okay, subclass and store that in base class object reference variable. So first we'll create a object reference variable for base class. So this is object reference variable of base class. So it is not the actual object, it is only the object reference variable. Actual object is created only through new operator. Next we'll create b obj2 new b. Okay, right. So this is the actual object of subclass. Okay, right. Now using obj2 here, Okay, so using obj2 we can access, okay, both base class members and subclass members because inheritance, because of inheritance. So in inheritance, base class members are inherited to subclass. So using the subclass object, we can access both base class members and subclass members. Okay, right. So the example goes like this for accessing obj2.x, obj2.y, obj2.m1 method. So similarly, we can also access, okay, obj2.p, obj2.q, and then obj2.m2 methods. Both are accessible. Base class members xy m1. So these are base class members and these are subclass members. So this is regular inheritance. Okay, so this is regular inheritance concept. Okay, now coming to upcasting. Okay, so now upcasting. So upcasting means storing subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable. So we'll do the upcasting like this. In base class object reference variable, I'll be storing obj2. So this is upcasting. Okay, so what happens when we do upcasting? So in memory, okay, so here in memory, both obj1 and obj2 will be referencing the same subclass object. It will be referencing the same subclass object. So this is called as upcasting. Okay, right? So now here, what happens after doing upcasting? Okay, so the important point goes like this. So after upcasting, using base class object reference variable. Now base class object reference variable is pointing to subclass object in memory. So using base class object reference variable, we can access only base class members from subclass object. Okay, but not subclass own members. So subclass own members are not accessible. So after upcasting using base class object reference variable, we can access only base class members from subclass object, but not subclass own members. So if we take this example, okay, example goes like this, right? So using obj1, we can access x, y, m1, only base class members. So using obj1, we cannot access p, q, m2. So subclass member not accessible. Okay, we'll get the error. So this is what is all about upcasting. Storing subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable, and then using base class object reference variable, we can access only base class members from the subclass object. Okay, right. So let us try to implement this in the form of a small program. So we'll take it as something like program upcasting example 1. Example 1 dot java, right? So program to perform upcasting in inheritance. Okay, right. So take a new page, right? So here we'll take class A, right? So we'll take two data members here, int x comma y, and then void m1 method So here we'll display system dot out dot println. So I'll write here base class A, okay, and then we'll display x value plus x, and then y value plus y. Okay, right. So similarly, we'll take the subclass class B extends A. Right. So here we'll take P, Q, M2 methods in subclass, and here we'll display subclass B. Right. So P value plus P, and then Q value plus Q. Right. So let us write the main class upcasting example 1. Main method public static void main string of args. Right, so let us save this program in our working directory. So upcasting example1.java. Right, so first we'll do regular inheritance. So A obj1, it is base class object reference variable only. It is not the actual object. Next, subclass B obj2 new B. So this is actual object of subclass. Okay, now using the actual object of subclass, okay, we can access both base class members and subclass members. So let us try to do that. Okay, so obj2 dot, okay, x y m1 p q m2. Okay, so x is equals to 10, y is equals to 20, and call m1 method, and then p is equals to, we'll take something like 100, q is equals to something like 200, and call m2 method. Okay, right, so here we'll display one message here, system dot out dot println using subclass B obj2. Right, okay, right. So let us compile and run this program. Everything is accessible with subclass object obj2. So open the command prompt, go to your working directory, java c upcasting example1.java. Okay, so semicolon is expected at this line, obj2.y is equals to 20. Right, so save and recompile the program, no error, and run it. So using the subclass object obj2, we can access both base class members x and y and p and q, 10, 20, 100 and 200 respectively. This is regular inheritance. Now let us do upcasting. So in base class object reference variable obj1, okay, I'm storing subclass object reference code. So this is upcasting. Okay, so after upcasting, so let us try to access all these things. Okay, so using base class A obj1, right, so we can access only base class members. So base class members are already assigned using subclass object, so we don't require this. Okay, so let us remove this. Right, so this is base class member m1 method, but we cannot access the subclass members. So let us put a comment for obj2.m2 initially. Right, come to the command prompt, recompile and run. So using base class A object, working with upcasting, storing subclass object reference code or hash code in base class object reference variable. And after upcasting, using base class object reference variable, we can access only base class members from subclass object. Thank you for watching this video. Do like and share this video, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel Sri Sai IT Hub. Have a nice day.